Welcome to Eagle News Canada. I am Lou Aquino. Here are this week's top stories. Taliban killed dozens at the army headquarters in northern Afghanistan. 8 are electrocuted in Caracas, looting amid Venezuela protests. Iraqis are determined to enjoy post-Islamic State life at Mosul waterfalls. Italian duo breaks sailing record from Dakar to Guadalupe. Now for the details. Dozens of Afghan soldiers were killed or wounded when Taliban gunmen disguised in Afghan army uniform talked their way past checkpoints and attacked a military base. A U.S. official in Washington put the toll at more than 50 killed and wounded. Afghan officials offered conflicting numbers of casualties in the incident at a major headquarters in northern Afghanistan, often used by foreign military advisors. The Western-backed Afghan government is locked in a prolonged war with Taliban insurgents and other militant groups. The attack was launched near a mosque on the base in Mazar-e-Sharif, the capital of Balkh province. 6 attackers in 2 military vehicles told guards at the gates that they were carrying wounded soldiers and urgently needed to enter. After killing at least 8 soldiers and wounding 11 others with rocket-propelled grenades and guns, 1 attacker was killed and other 5 arrested. The base is the headquarters for the Afghan National Army's 209th Corps, responsible for much of northern Afghanistan, including Kunduz province, where there has been heavy fighting. 8 people were electrocuted to death during a looting incident in Caracas amid violent protests against Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro by opponents accusing him of seeking to create a dictatorship. The public prosecutor's office also said that it was investigating 11 deaths in El Valle, adding that some victims had died from being electrocuted. The accident occurred when a group of looters broke into a bakery into the working-class neighborhood of El Valle. It was not immediately possible to confirm details of the incident with hospital or other officials. 9 other people have been killed in the violence associated with a wave of anti-government demonstrations in the past 3 weeks, in which protesters have clashed with security forces in meals lasting well into the night. Hain Mustafa, owner of a small supermarket in El Valle, where broken bottles of soy sauce and ketchup littered the floor between bare shelves, said he felt scared as a group of people carrying weapons looted the shop the night before. Dozens of businesses in the area showed signs of looting, ranging from empty shelves to broken windows and twisted metal entrance gates. Maduro's government is so far resisting to pressure of the most serious protests in 3 years as opposition leaders push a series of political demands, drawing support from a public angered by the country's collapsing economy. Ruling Socialist Party leaders describe the protesters as hoodlums who are damaging public property and disrupting public order to overthrow the government with the support of ideological adversaries in Washington. Opposition leaders have promised to keep up their protests, demanding that Maduro's government call general elections, free almost 100 jailed opposition activists, and respect the autonomy of the opposition-led Congress. In Iraq, crowds of Iraqis gathered by Mosul's waterfalls to savor simple freedoms like dancing or wearing colorful clothes that were strictly banned during almost 3 years of Islamic State rule. Music blasted from tall speakers mounted on pickup trucks and minivans. Children splashed in the water in the city's Shalalat Waterfalls district. Some also rode bikes, horses, and donkeys in the surrounding park. It was like a mass picnic with about 2,000 people out enjoying the sunshine while fighting between U.S.-backed forces and Islamist militants rage only 20 kilometers away in the part of Mosul's west of the Tigris River. The Sunni Muslim militants enforced a strict interpretation of Islam on residents during their reign, which included forcing men to grow long beard and women to cover their faces. Anyone breaking those rules would be severely punished. That atmosphere was gone on Friday as women wore bright colors rather than black dress enforced by Islamic State fighters. An Italian father and son duo have sailed their way into the record books after taking just over 11 days to cross the Atlantic in a catamaran. Nico and Vittorio Malingri arrived at the Guadalupe port town of Pointe-à-Pitre on Thursday, 11 days, 1 hour and 9 minutes after leaving Dakar in Senegal, the World Sailing Speed Record Council said. The time was 10 hours, 16 minutes quicker than the previous mark set by French duo Benoît Lequin and Pierre-Yves Meurot in 2007.
Ragazzi, l'esperienza è stata spettacolare, cioè siamo andati sempre, la barca è bellissima da portare, ci siamo preparati bene con il comfort, quindi siamo stati bene, cioè fino al settimo, l'ottavo giorno di navigazione avremmo potuto andare avanti all'infinito, abbiamo iniziato ad accusare alla fine.
The distance from Senegal to Guadalupe is around 4,725 kilometers, roughly the same as between New York and San Francisco. Coming up, spectacular icebergs drift off the Canada's shore. India and Canada set to enhance security ties. Canada sets in new sanctions against Syria after the chemical attack. Prices rise 1.6% on higher gas and vehicle costs. Eagle News Canada will return shortly. Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News Canada. Residents off the coast of South Shore of Newfoundland, Canada, have recently been treated to a view of the first iceberg and sea ice drift of the season. The massive chunks of floating ice have been witnessed off the coast of the towns of Middle Cove Beach and Fairyland, both in Newfoundland. The region is commonly referred to as Iceberg Alley and delighted a number of residents over the holiday weekend. The largest iceberg, which was spotted over the weekend, measured some 151 feet or 46 meters in height. Canada's Defense Minister Harjit Singh Sajjan said he discussed enhancing defense and security ties with Indian counterpart Arun Jaitley in New Delhi.
We are already doing some work with regarding reciprocal training, and we need to develop that even further.
Sajjan also explained his intended visit to Punjab.
But I'm not going to get into the petty politics of one chief minister or any other province. My reason for going to Punjab is to pay respects to Harmandir Sahib, because as you know, I am a Sikh. I want to pay respects to the village that I was born. We're very, very proud of my roots.
India's Northern Punjab State Chief Captain Amarinder Singh had said Sajjan sympathized with those that wanted a separate Sikh homeland. Sajjan is also expected to travel to Mumbai to meet several businesses and industry leaders. Official data showed Canada has over 1.2 million people of Indian origin, comprising more than 3% of Canada's population. Canada announced new sanctions against Syria targeting officials and entities linked to the use of chemical weapons. The measure follows an initial round of sanctions announced last week, Canada's first against Syria and its president Bashar al-Assad since 2014, when a conservative government was in office in Ottawa. The United States, which fired 59 cruise missiles at a Syrian airfield on April 7 after Syria allegedly used chemical weapons against a civilian neighborhood, has also sanctioned some Syrian entities and individuals. The Foreign Ministry said the latest Canadian sanctions affect 17 high-ranking individuals in the Assad regime and 5 entities linked to the use of chemical weapons in Syria. It said the new measure were meant to help pressure Syria to immediately stop the repeated and heinous attacks against its own people. The Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons said that incontrovertible test results has shown sarin gas or similar substance was used in an April 4 attack that killed 87 people in Khan Sheikhan. The sanctions target 5 research centers and chemicals manufacturers, as well as 17 people. Foreign Minister Chrystia Freeland said Canada was helping with an international investigation of the use of chemical weapons in Syria. The Canadian government has allocated 1.6 billion Canadian dollars over 3 years to finance security, stabilization, humanitarian, and development assistance in Syria and Iraq. Canada has also welcomed more than 40,000 Syrian refugees since November 2015. The government statistical agency said Canadians paid 1.6% more in March for goods and services than a year earlier. Rising gasoline prices were the biggest factor pushing up inflation, although the overall rate was slightly below expectations. Economists had predicted that the country's consumer price index would rise by 1.8% after a 2.0% increase in February. On a seasonally adjusted monthly basis, prices declined 0.2% in March after falling by 0.3% in February. Overall prices rose in 5 of the 8 categories measured by Statistics Canada, the exceptions being food and clothing, which declined, and household operations, which remained stable. For a 6th straight month, year-to-year food prices declined in March by 1.9%. Prices for food purchased in stores were down 3.6%. Clothing prices fell by 0.9% over the 12 months to March, with the largest declines in women's and children's clothing. The biggest rise after transportation costs came in the Recreation, Education, and Reading Index, which rose 3.6%, boosted by a 6.8% rise in the Travel Tours Index. Up next, EBC's Arnie Aquino takes us to the Fisherman's Wharf in Victoria, British Columbia. Kara Kabusa brings us up to speed on driver-assisted technology at the Vancouver International Auto Show. Eagle News Canada will be right back. Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News Canada. I am Lou Aquino. The Fisherman's Wharf is one of the most popular tourist destinations in Victoria, BC. Arnie Aquino tells us why. Take a look.
Fisherman's Wharf here in Victoria, British Columbia is one of the popular tourist destinations where visitors can see seals and other marine life along a quaint pier that features food kiosks, shops, and floating houses. Just around the corner of Victoria's Inner Harbour, Fisherman's Wharf is a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. Victoria, the capital of British Columbia, is nestled on the southern end of Vancouver Island and is best known for its abundant parkland and outdoor activities. The Fisherman's Wharf here is a unique marine destination that offers food kiosks, unique shops, and eco-tour adventures in the heart of the working harbour. Visitors are often spotted wandering down the docks, buying seafood fresh off the boat, marveling at sea-moored pleasure vessels and float homes, and take pleasure at the sight of fishing vessels unloading their wares. The Fisherman's Wharf is a one-of-a-kind tourist destination by the water in Victoria that sea lovers often visit time and time again. Reporting from Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, my name is Arnie Aquino. I am one with 25.
Thank you, Arnie. Victoria indeed is a beautiful city. Kara Kabusa tells us why the driver-assisted technology system highlighted at the Vancouver International Auto Show is such a hit. Take a look.
There are many new things here in the 2017 Vancouver Auto Show with brands such as Ford, Subaru, and Honda, with safety features and technology such as the EyeSight, a driver-assisted technology. Let's check out what the car industry is heading right now.
Technology has changed the face of the car industry. The demand for auto safety has been increasing in today's market, and there's no indication that this will let up in the future. Manufacturers are building cars with structures such as the Advanced Driver Assistance Systems, or ADAS, that can help avoid or mitigate a crash in situations such as closing in on another car too quickly, changing lanes with the car in a blind spot, or simply backing out in a busy parking lot. Though driver assist technologies such as anti-lock brakes, electronic stability control, and traction control have been around for decades, they have been relatively unobtrusive, operating behind the scenes without the average driver ever knowing. Today's more advanced driver assist systems provide motorists with essential information about their surroundings and automate difficult or repetitive tasks in the hope of an overall increase in safety. Subaru's eyesight technology is a good example of a more modern driver assistance system. It monitors traffic movement, optimizes cruise control, and sends a warning if the driver drifts outside the lane. These advanced systems provides extra awareness, safety, and added peace of mind while driving. Ford brands also offer the same kind of technology. One of its features is Adaptive Cruise Control, or ACC, which helps drivers maintain a preset distance from the vehicle they are following. The system automatically adjusts the speed of the car to help maintain a preset distance from the vehicle in the front. Although ADAS offers different kinds of systems to prevent accidents while driving, it is still ultimately the driver's responsibility to keep his eyes on the road and to follow safety precautions while driving.
From Vancouver Convention Center, I am Cara Cabusao, reporting for Eagle News Canada. I am one with 25.
Thank you, Cara. Innovation taking the auto industry to another level. Thank you for watching Eagle News Canada. Visit our website at Eaglenews.PH. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/EagleNewsPH. I am Lou Aquino. I'm one with 25. See you next week.